The Arabic name of God is also masculine and feminine. Allah. Aleph Lamed, the ancient Hebrew name of the masculine principle of God, and La, the feminine inverse. Aleph Lamed, and the name Kem, the black land, the name the ancient Egyptians had for Egypt, Al-Kemi, is the divine art of Kem, the divine art of God, the evolution of the archetypes of the Egyptian pantheon, the Netjeru, from obscure theory-anthropomorphic characters representing elements of the universal psychology of God existing in all sentient forms of life, into more simplified symbols, metals, laboratory procedures, zodiacal and planetary symbols, etc., as a gesture to the Abrahamic tradition of iconoclasting. Clast means to break, and clasting icons or breaking idols is the symbol of transcending the superficial images we use to represent that which is impossible to depict, the transcendent natures of reality, the supreme and the ineffable. As it says in one of our holy books, Liber Cordis Cincti Serpenti, Radiant God, let me fashion an image of gems and gold for thee, that the people may cast it down and trample it to dust. It also says, debate not of the image, saying beyond, beyond. One mounteth unto the crown by the moon, and by the sun, and by the arrow, and by the foundation, and by the dark home of the stars from the black earth. In other words, acknowledge the fact that the map is not the territory, but at least have a map. All maps within all world traditions acknowledge the supreme importance of balancing the masculine and feminine within, although many have forgotten how to interpret their own scriptures over the centuries. Saint Rosenkreuz Abbey is here as part of a global effort to help correct this through education by conversation. By the way, there are 23 chromosomes from the male and 23 from the female in the creation of the child. And traditionally, this is the masculine principle of fire, and this is the masculine principle of water, and this is the Masonic symbol, but this is our symbol, where the two are balanced on the level. The Gnostic mystical scriptures have always used the male pronoun in reference to the solar principles of Tifereth within the heart of every man and woman, and the female pronoun to refer to the lunar principle of Gimel that connects Tifereth to the crown. The word man itself is composed of the letters Mem, Aleph, and Nun, representing Mem is the waters of birth, Aleph is the one who goes, and Nun is death. M-A-N, birth, life, death. Woman, human, mankind. The ultimate punchline found at the end of every single spiritual path is best expressed by the sentiment of a Tibetan monk who was imprisoned and tortured for many years in a Chinese prison, who wrote about how his greatest challenge during that time being tortured was to look at everyone torturing him with absolute love. I found out about that at the Thich Nhat Hanh Center. They were passing a book around by this guy. Just amazing. Traditionally, the center of your soul literally is Jesus. You are him. You are her. You can either own it and learn to be on your cross and ask the ineffable to forgive them for they know not what they do, working towards solutions in a more practical way through compassion, or you can let your inner devils win by allowing more war to beget more war. This is the final war within, the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the war of the Bhagavad Gita, the war of the 3rd chapter of the Book of the Law. Kurukshetra literally means field of action. Before any action can be made, there is a war within. You must often slay family and friends within yourself. Opinions and ways of doing things implanted in your psyche by those you love often must be killed in order to do the right thing. In Matthew 5:44, Christ said, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. If we're to do good to those who literally persecute us, how much more should we be doing good for everyone else? In our order we have a saying, et in Arcadia ego. Arcadia was the central province of a place in Greece, the Peloponnesus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. whose non-Dorian population was dominated and held in servitude by the Dorian Spartans. As Helots, they had no rights and were a subject people, essentially serfs. Sparta declined and fell, and the Arcadians lived on. So where the oppressed are, there the Christ will take his stand, or her stand. Here's a quote. Christ, at the height of his career, found time to wash the feet of his disciples. Any master who does not do this on every plane is a black brother. This was said by Gnostic Saint Sir Aleister Crowley. By the way, the term black brother, as a famous brother of our order pointed out, has nothing to do with ethnicity. The illusions of white and black, as in white magic and black magic, are rooted in the concepts of the light and the darkness as they relate to knowledge. If you walk into a pitch black room in the middle of the night and can't see anything in the darkness, you're liable to stumble and hurt yourself and others in that room. If you illuminate or enlighten the room with a candle, you can see everything around you enough to not hurt yourself or any other. This is what one of our holy books means by saying, "Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Do that, and no other shall say nay." In other words, when one is doing their true will, the will of love, agape, universal love for all, one will find no conflict with any other in the world. Here's a quote from our book, The Heart of the Master. Love burns in the heart of the Master. He, seeing only God in everything, with the white flame of worship, purges it of all its fancied imperfection. His boundless